Hello everyone, I'm Surbhi Unyal, Assistant Professor in the Department of Philosophy, Hansraj College, University of Delhi. The title of my lecture is Ethics of Artificial Intelligence. Artificial intelligence, as we all know, is a vast area for exploration. So my aim in this particular video is to talk about some of the central ethical issues in favor of and against artificial intelligence. We all know that today we live in an advanced technological world, which has now become an integral part of who we are. Can you think of yourself without your cell phone and internet, even for a day, or for a matter of fact, even for some hours? I'm sure most of you are going to find it tough, because our everyday life is so dependent on technology that we cannot even stay without these technologies for even for few hours. So most of us have become so dependent on technology for, let's say, the easier cognitive tasks like doing small calculations or using GPS for traveling, to higher level cognitive tasks like problem solving and decision making. Now, this widespread use of technology, it raises an important question that whether these inventions and these AI interventions, have they changed or have they reshaped the very concept of human life? Artificial intelligence is all around us and is playing an important role and an active role in our daily lives. Let's look at some of the important examples of artificial intelligence from our everyday life. Every time you open your Facebook newsfeed or do Google search, we see product recommendations coming from Amazon or Flipkart, etc., etc. Or there will be a advertisement of booking a flight. What is this? This is the AI that is nudging us to buy these products and services based on our previous search history. Another such example is of Sophia, which is a humanoid robot with artificial intelligence. It is an advanced social learning robot who can efficiently communicate with natural language and can use facial expressions to convey human-like emotions. This robot is specially designed for commercial and consumer markets. So artificial intelligence is also helpful in various other sectors like healthcare. Very important, healthcare. In healthcare, it is used for robot-assisted surgeries or diagnosis, and also for personalized healthcare guidance. Now, another interesting example which you might have heard about is an automatic car or a driverless car. How will it work? The aim is to make such cars where there is no need for human drivers. And based on AI, the car will work automatically. There will be sensors which will constantly take note of everything going around the car and will use AI to make correct adjustments. Well, there are many such examples of how AI is prevalent in finance industry or in governance or in law, marketing, transportation, social media, and you name it. So though these advancements, they are important, yet they raise serious ethical challenges which deserve our attention towards them. We need to question whether these inventions and these interventions, how are they posing a threat, or whether they are posing a threat to human life or not. So let us first understand, before going on directly to what are the ethical issues surrounding artificial intelligence, let us first understand what is artificial intelligence. So there are some definitions that I am going to discuss with you, or how different philosophers and theorists, they have defined artificial intelligence. So the term artificial intelligence was coined by an emeritus Stanford professor, John McCarthy in 1955, and he defined it as the science and engineering of making intelligent machines. In general terminology, we understand artificial intelligence as smart technologies which give machines the ability to imitate humans or imitate human intelligence and perform cognitive tasks. Philosophically stating, Russell and Norvig, in their text, Artificial Intelligence, A Modern Approach, provide some definitions of what is artificial intelligence. And they have organized these definitions into 4 broad categories that are thinking humanly and thinking rationally, and from the behavioral aspect as acting humanly or acting rationally. Philosopher John Hoagland, he defines AI in terms of thinking humanly, and he states the exciting new effort to make computers think. That means machines with minds in the full and literal sense. Winston, on the other hand, provides thinking rationally argument of artificial intelligence by stating that it is the study of computations that make it possible to perceive, reason, and act. Another philosopher who gave definition of AI was from the behavioral theory aspect, and he says that this is the study of how to make computers do think at which, at the moment, people are better. This means acting humanly. While Nilsson's argues that AI is concerned with intelligent behavior in artifacts. Another important and very famous approach to artificial intelligence was provided by Alan Turing in his paper Computing Machinery and Intelligence, where he suggests that instead of asking whether machines can think, we should rather ask whether machines can pass behavioral intelligence test, which is known as the Turing test, in which the computer program or the machine appears for a written exam and it passes the test only if the interrogator is unable to make out whether the response came from a human or from a machine or a computer. So computer will be seen as intelligent only if it passes that intelligence test. Some of you might have faced the similar problem while chatting online, because you might be fooled thinking that you are chatting with a human being or you are chatting with a person, but actually you might be chatting with a computer. And this has often happened when you are chatting on internet chat box or many a times in customer care services. It is the computer program that is answering your question or that is chatting with you. It is not a person. So many a times we are fooled by these programs. Now the question that is, if we have machines which are behaving like humans or thinking like humans, what kind of ethical challenge can they pose? The ethics of artificial intelligence is concerned with the most important question of how human developers should behave in order to minimize the ethical harm that can arise from AI in society, arising from either from a poor, unethical design or its inappropriate application or its misuse. It also deals with issues related to data privacy and biasness in the current AI systems, or the impact of AI and robots on jobs and workplaces. And the most important concern about the possibility of AI systems reaching or exceeding the human equivalent capacities. So these are some of the issues which I will be looking at more closely now. So let us look at some of the central ethical issues regarding artificial intelligence. Firstly, does an AI hold a moral status? It is commonly believed that only sentient beings who have qualia, who can feel pain and suffering, only those are sentient beings and only those can be given moral status. Hence, present AI systems have no moral status. We can anytime delete them, we can copy them, we can terminate it, or we can use these systems as per our own convenience and as per our own needs. So the only constraint that we have is that we are only subject to, with the dealing of the AI system, not about our duties toward AI, but towards how they might affect other human beings. So, if AI systems do not hold moral status, the other question that implies or that is related to the same issue is whether we can say that they are moral agents, because we are not giving them the status or moral status. So can we then imply that they do not even have or they cannot be seen as moral agents as well? So we do see them as intelligent agents. We are not saying that we don't see them as intelligent agents. We do see them as intelligent agents, but can they also be seen as moral agents? That is our question that we need to ponder upon. So in ethics, our main aim is to evaluate actions as right, wrong, good, bad, and after doing that, we attach responsibility for the actions performed. So in this case, if an AI is doing an act, do we say that these acts are done by moral agents? Because the related issue to this notion of moral agency is about responsibility, or as we have seen here in this point is about accountability, which is one of the most important concern in ethics. When, let's say, when an action is performed, when any action is performed, we often ask, who did this? And we hold the person accountable for what he or she has done. Holding someone accountable means to praise or to blame the person for the action he or she has performed. Since they are moral agents and they are rational agents who can reason what is right action that has to be performed and what is the wrong action that has to be avoided, so we often hold them accountable for the action they have done. Now the question is, if the action is performed by artificial intelligence, who will be held accountable in this case? For example, if an automatic car hits someone on the road, who will be held responsible in this case? Can we hold the car responsible in the same manner as we hold a person responsible for rash driving? We cannot, because AI is not considered as a moral agent, therefore its actions are not morally evaluated. Hence, it raises a concern that AI systems might lead to loss of accountability. That means there will be no one whom we can hold responsible for the action that is being performed. Like in the example I have just stated of an automatic car, there we cannot fine or punish the car for hitting someone, which we can do in the case of a person. We do fine a person, or we do punish the person for the action that he or she has performed. But we cannot do the same in the case of artificial intelligence. Therefore, this is seen as a serious concern in the question of artificial intelligence, because there will be no one to be accountable for the action. Another important concern, which is a very serious concern, that artificial intelligence could create mass unemployment during the next 2 decades. AI is already widespread, as I had already mentioned, that it is widespread in finance, marketing, transportation, energy development, healthcare, law, etc., etc. Also now there are autonomous vehicles. There is another serious concern, which is that artificial intelligence could create mass unemployment during the next 2 decades. AI is already widespread in finance, as I had already mentioned, in marketing, transportation, law, healthcare, energy development, etc. So also now you might have heard about autonomous vehicles, which are performing the functions that previously required human intervention. And now with the emergence of artificial intelligence, we do not need a human intervention in that case. So there is a fear in the people that people might lose their job and artificial intelligence is going to replace them. While there are some other theorists who say or who believe that AI will not replace humans. Rather, it is designed in such a manner that it will assist humans. Rather than replacing them, it would create higher paying jobs. So there are people from both the sides who are criticizing it for creating mass unemployment, while there are some who believe that rather than replacing humans, AI is going to assist them and rather create some higher paying jobs. Now, another very serious and very important concern is about privacy. Philosophers have raised concern about the infringement in the privacy of a person by AI systems. One of the ways in which AI is already infringing privacy is through voice-activated devices, like you might have heard about Alexa or Siri and other such kind of devices, which are capable of learning the interest of their users. And not only that, they are always on and they're always listening to their users. So they might store a lot of data and also some private conversations of their users, which can be hacked and which can be misused. So, which is again a very, very serious issue and need our attention towards it by looking at ways of in how we can ensure privacy of the users. Now, the last point that I'm going to discuss is about how philosophers have stated that artificial intelligence will be fair as compared to humans, because these artificial systems, they work on fixed data sets, and hence they will not be biased like us, like we human beings. They are not going to be biased towards someone. So like there are recent cases of humanoid robot teachers in some schools. So it is capable of taking the queries from children, asking them questions, and responding to the questions that the students ask. So these robots will give students equal attention without any kind of biasness like favoritism, etc. AI is also considered helpful in hiring, criminal justice, and in healthcare, as it will be less biased and will be fair as compared to humans. Though there are some people who criticize it by saying that AI systems can also be biased, as they learn from human behavior and they learn from the environment. So hence, with time, they can also be biased by observing us being biased. So this shows that it will not be unbiased ever. So these are some of the ongoing debates in the area of artificial intelligence, and as the technology is developing at a very fast rate, the definition and the debates surrounding artificial intelligence are also changing with the advancements. Though this is a vast area, as I had already mentioned in the beginning, that this is a vast area and there are many, many more debates going on in the area of artificial intelligence, which I might not have touched upon because I tried to stick to some of the central ethical theories in artificial intelligence. But I hope you found it useful and you found it interesting. So thank you for watching the lecture and thank you for joining us.